I want to talk to you about a UPS seasonal driver. I want to share with you a few hacks to always get loads. So if you are a UPS seasonal driver and you're trying to get loads, it's really important to have the right strategy. And one thing I want to do here is that when you think about a UPS driver, especially the seasonal drivers, there are two important elements that play a role in how much money you make: your geography and your availability. So when UPS is looking for a seasonal driver, it will pay attention to your location and your availability. So be ready to work odd hours. Be flexible in terms of timing. Don't you say, I just want to work 9 to 5, or I want to work on the weekends or whatever. No. You have to be willing to work at odd hours. We're looking at working overnight, doing cross-state deliveries. There are cases where UPS might actually ask you to haul loads for the company and doing a cross-state delivery. So it's important to be flexible, okay? And so that flexibility also extends to what kind of vehicle you want to drive. See, the whole thing is that UPS has a system whereby they will lend you some vehicles, so you can drive your own vehicle, but you can also drive a UPS owned vehicle. So that level of flexibility is really important. In some cases, you might need to actually have a CDL. Normally, if you're driving a cargo van, a Sprinter van, a box truck, or a pickup truck, you don't need to have a CDL. But depending upon the kind of loads you want to haul, or depending the kind of vehicle you want to drive, and the kind of weight that you have to haul, you might need to have a CDL. So be very careful. So just keep that in mind. Another thing I want to mention also, when we talk about a UPS seasonal driver, be also mindful of the fact that you might need authority. So you might need to have MC authority. So if you need to have some kind of MC number, then make sure that you have it. Again, everything UPS will tell you beforehand. So when they have their seasonal driver requirements, they'll let you know for each load, for every job, for every contract, for every project. They'll let you know what the requirements are. Okay, so the bottom line here is what you want to be careful about: your availability and also the geography. So places you want to load, like where you want to carry loads to, and where you are available. So this is very important. This is the foundation of your success as a UPS seasonal driver. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here, and we're going to have a quick convo about UPS seasonal driver. I'm sharing with you a few hacks, a few tips, a few tricks to actually make more money this season. So when we talk about UPS seasonal driver, you need to actually follow certain regulations or certain internal rules, and be ready to make deliveries as quickly and efficiently as possible. Be willing to operate your vehicle in a safe and responsible manner at all times. Be willing to follow company identification standards. We're talking about, everything around branding and logo, whatever. And, if you have to wear uniforms, you have to wear the uniform. Okay. The thing is, UPS is a major logistics players, and they pay attention a lot to their brand. Okay. So you also need to make sure that you are comfortable assisting with loading and unloading your cargo van, your Sprinter van, your vehicle in general. Okay. And you also need to keep logs up to date and ensure valid information is recorded. The thing is, when we talk about the seasonal, the UPS season, some seasons can be very busy, some not. When we talk about seasons, it's not just about the holiday season though, because the UPS has all kinds of seasonality throughout the year. They have one in the summer. They have one in spring. They have one around September. They have one around February. It really depends on the location. And because when we talk about seasonality and seasonal needs, everything depends on your state or your county or your city, your location. Remember, logistics, it's all about location. It's kind of similar to real estate, right? So the thing is that be ready to actually follow all rules and regulations that UPS has. The thing is, once they actually hire you as a seasonal driver, they will share with you an employee handbook. And this employee handbook can be electronic or it can be paper-based. Please be ready, be willing to read the whole documents. It's usually 2 to 3 pages, and they tell you everything that is required of you during the season. And what you want to do is you want to abide by, you want to comply with all the rules and regulations on that piece of paper, so that you are good to go. But the bottom line here is that as long as you can actually follow instructions and you can deliver loads on time, you are good to go. Okay, and also don't worry, don't forget about being punctual. I'll speak about punctuality later on, but being punctual is very, very important. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about UPS seasonal driver. I'm sharing with you a few hacks, tips, and tricks to kind of help you make a lot of money this season. If you want to actually succeed as a UPS seasonal driver, be aware of your work environment. So when we talk about work environment, we're speaking about three things. We're speaking about your relationships with colleagues at the office, your relationship with colleagues with other drivers, so outside, and how you handle your own vehicle. So when we talk about handling your own vehicle, first of all, if the vehicle is yours, then there's no problem. If the vehicle is UPS's, then you have to be sure that you pay attention to everything you do in the vehicle, because the UPS actually maintains high standards in terms of quality, in terms of mechanical dexterity, mechanical integrity. So they want to make sure that you are taking care of the vehicle as you would your own. And so when we talk about your relationship with other drivers in the office, I mean, again, what I'm talking about here, you don't have to be like you don't have to be an owner operator, or you don't have to be a company driver. It's just that if you are being hired as a seasonal driver, you need to comply with certain rules. And part of that is to actually be in good terms with other drivers, which means what? You always trying to be positive. Don't actually start like having issues with trying to fight with other drivers, or trying to spread negativity, trying to have a gossip, whatever. No, just be professional. You have to be professional. You have to be courteous at all times. You have to be friendly. It's all about what? It's all about fostering an environment of collaboration, an environment of camaraderie, an environment of friendliness. Okay. And so that's really important. So that's in the office. Now, outside the office, in other words, on the road, when you're driving, make sure that you maintain the same level of courtesy, the same level of politeness with all other drivers, not just UPS drivers, all drivers in general. Okay, because it's when you're driving, we want to have an atmosphere of safety. You want to focus on safety. You want to focus on punctuality, delivering your loads on time, and most importantly, maintaining UPS branding, UPS logo. So those are elements that are very, very critical. And I want to also talk to you about your responsibilities as a seasonal driver, as a UPS seasonal driver. So basically, depending on your geography and depending on your assignments, UPS might ask you to provide help for loading and unloading loads, so packages. And you need to actually work with, you can actually work your own route, or lead or manage other drivers on your route. So basically, you can be an owner operator. You can be a fleet operator working on behalf of UPS. So sometimes you can work solo, or sometimes you can work in a group. You can also help other UPS drivers carry on their duties. For example, if you are working a route that is already free and you have done everything, and you have like your another route that is saturated, UPS might ask you to actually help out. Now, they can ask you to help out automatically, or you might receive like some kind of like they might actually wait for you to also offer your own help. The bottom line here is that you got to ask yourself, how can I add value? If you want to be a successful UPS seasonal driver, you got to always ask yourself, how can I add value? How can I improve the working situation for myself and for all the other colleagues, right? And if you start thinking that way, if you start thinking in terms of adding value, you'll be really surprised that in some cases, UPS might upgrade you to a full-time driver, or UPS might actually give you a seasonal delivery service partner. In other words, not a seasonal, you might actually become a permanent service delivery partner for UPS. In other words, you will be like an owner operator, and you'll have a contract where UPS will rely on you to load certain packages, and in some cases they might even assign to you a specific route that you can drive. You can actually operate and make money, right? Because the bottom line is you have a business. If you have a business, you need to generate revenue, and UPS is willing to help you out. So what I'm trying to say here is that as a UPS seasonal driver, if you play the game correctly, if you are courteous, if you're polite, if you are punctual, if you always take all opportunities and not start picking opportunities, you might be actually you might land a permanent opportunity, a permanent gig with UPS, either as a full-time employee working in-house, or as an owner operator working outside, or you can actually be called to work with UPS on specific projects. Another thing I want to talk to you about, if you want to be a successful UPS seasonal driver and make a lot of cash this season, you got to really maintain some strength. We're talking about your fitness, your overall level of fitness. I mean, this is something that we don't talk a lot about, but hey, listen, you can't just be a UPS seasonal driver if you're not in ship. You got to be in ship. Why? Because in some cases, you might actually be called upon to utilize forklifts, pallet jacks, and dollies to load and transport packaged goods on behalf of UPS clients. Okay, you might have to pull away. You might have to put away, pull, check, and pack material using RF scanning systems. So we're talking about being fit, but also being smart in terms of technology. Okay, you might have to use the map and GPS to determine the best route for time and fuel efficiency. And you might have to make sure that patients have mobility aids such as wheelchair, crutches, and walkers. It really depends on the kind of loads you have. So the diversity is there. Okay, diversity is totally there, not a problem at all. But you're going to have to really do some research. And again, everything depends on your geography. One thing I want to say also is that UPS will make sure that the kind of geography, the kind of states you are assigned to, they have loads for you, you have jobs for you, and they will give you all instructions before you start hauling. Okay, so if you want to be a UPS seasonal driver, a successful one at that, this season, you need to really pay attention to a few things. As I said before, you want to maintain a great relationship in the office, great relationship outside the office, great relationship with yourself. You make sure that you have you think about your availability. So are you working late nights? Are you working early days? Are you working, what kind of shift do you want to work? So those are things you need to be really specific about beforehand. I want to talk to you about other things that you really need to understand. And when we talk about if you want to be a UPS seasonal driver and a successful one this season, you need to actually learn all kinds of equipment. So we're talking about equipment that is necessary for your delivery jobs. For example, you need to be able to use a variety of ways like hand, dollies, wheelbarrows to move receptacles to and from appropriate locations. You need to load truck or cargo van or spreader van with appropriate product and delivery accordingly. Return to warehouse for receiving and other warehouse duties, including monthly inventory. You need to be able to process packages for hazmat packages and for timely delivery of overnight packages. The thing is that UPS is very adamant. Like the front office of UPS will make sure whatever package they give to you is already sorted out. So it's very rare to have hazmat because there is an entire department at UPS that takes care of hazmat. So hazmat we're speaking about the hazardous materials. And so the thing here is that if you want to work on hazmat delivery, then you need to talk to a customer service at UPS. Otherwise, if you want just to go with the regular deliveries, that's totally fine. But if you want to move to another department, if you want to move to another level for hazmat, then you need to talk to another department. One thing I want to say here is that if you want to be successful as a UPS seasonal driver and make a lot of cash this season, make sure that you are diversifying the loads that you are hauling. So don't just say, you know what, I'm going to haul only this loads and that's it. No, you want to diversify because you don't know what will happen. Once you are flexible, then the universe will start blessing you. I mean, literally, we're talking about UPS and also, the universe in general will start, because see, the thing is, you're available for everything. You are available for every load. So what will happen is you will start realizing that you have more loads that are coming your way from UPS. Okay. You will have a lot of blessings. And please, this is important it's important to be flexible here. And when we talk about flexibility, I want to go back to the point that I just made earlier. Flexibility is also in terms of the hours that you're willing to work. The hours you're willing to work, and if you're willing to maybe delivery or overnight packages and what have you. So you are pretty low. You're pretty flexible, and you're pretty flexible in terms of the loads that you want to haul and deliver. If you want to be a successful UPS seasonal driver this season and make money, you got to think about compensation. And so the thing is, usually UPS drivers generally get about $30 to $35 an hour, and their annual median pay is around $65,000 to $70,000 a year. And it's important to understand that if you want to actually be successful, be mindful of the payment terms, and don't focus only on payments, because what will happen here is that UPS actually generally calls back those seasonal drivers who have been wonderful. So focus on making sure that you do a good job during the season, and once the season is over, UPS might call you back and might really offer you a full-time project as an owner operator or as an in-house employee. Okay. So, but don't put like pricing first and say, you know what, if I'm not making this amount of money, I'm not driving for UPS. No, you will be shooting yourself in the foot, especially if you are a newbie, and if you are trying to really establish your brand, then it will be nice to actually be associated with a brand that's known as a UPS. Okay, especially if you are trying to become a UPS seasonal driver. And one thing I also want to say is that when we talk about compensation, remember that compensation is not just based on your hourly pay. You have things like 401k, paid health insurance, vacation time. If you work for UPS, of course, this is why I'm just telling you, it really helps if you do a good job, that there is a possibility for you to be promoted to a UPS driver, down the road. And even if you're not promoted right away, UPS actually keeps your contacts anyway. They keep all your phone numbers. They keep your email, your inboxes, or whatever. So they do have a system in place that takes care of those things. So if for any reason you are not able to come to work, you're not able to do anything, you can actually try to see if you can get a UPS seasonal driver job. I mean, this is a great side gig, and especially if if there is availability in your area, this is totally wonderful. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just sharing with you a few UPS seasonal driver tips, hacks, and tricks to kind of help you succeed. So we spoke about a lot of things. We spoke about salary. We spoke about your duties. We spoke about the atmosphere at work, on the road, but also internally. We spoke about the working hours. We spoke about a lot of things. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.